Okay, hello everybody. Uh, I'm Ellen Stanley. I'm Conference Director of Focal Alliance Region Midwest, and probably most of you who are joining this are registered for the conference. But in case you don't know, um, it's happening October 23rd through the 26th in Lisle, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And as in past years, we are using the Whova conference app, and we've used this now for a few years, and we're starting to use it for more and more things. So we wanted to make sure you all knew the ins and outs of the app and could take advantage of some of the features that we use it for. So we have a bunch of people on the Zoom call today, and I'm sure many others might be watching later. But I do want to point out that we have a few key members of the farm team that are on today, including Annie Capps, who originally set us up with the Whova app and knows a lot about it, and Leslie Rich, who's our registrar. And some of you might have been in contact with him if you've had problems maybe registering or getting logged into the app initially. Then we have Smitty, who's on the board and has is I think these days vice president of the board, but very involved in many things. And of course, Charlie Mossbrook, who is teching the live stream and checking the chat as we go today, and lots of other friends, Mike Green, another board member. I'm sure there's many others, but I just wanted to um, point those folks out. And certainly any of them or any of you can chime in the chat at any point with questions, comments, observations, things that you've found helpful as you've explored the app. So I'm going to go over some basics, but it's definitely open for questions. So if you have a comment, especially on something that maybe I'm talking about, feel free to just raise your hand. I think you probably know where that is, but it's basically, I think it's what is it in the React area? I'm trying to
Yeah,
remind myself where it is.
in the React, yeah.
Yes. So at the bottom of the screen, there's React, and then you can raise your hand, and we will call on you or just put something in the chat, and we'll try and get to all the questions as we go today. So um, I don't know, maybe it might be helpful to know how many people have actually like logged into the app of the folks here or who have not at all. Okay. Okay, it seems like a bunch of you, but we'll just start with some of the basics. And first of all, when you registered, something new this year at this year's conference is our registration system. You might have noticed was a little bit different this year. And we actually did it through the Whova app. And of course, there's a lot of benefits to that. But one of them is it's a big time saver from the administrative end because when you register, all your info goes straight into the app. So in past years, we've had to like export all that data and re-import it into Whova. And sometimes there were mistakes or problems with this using the same email. Maybe you register with a different email and set up Whova in a different email. So all of that should be, uh, in theory, should be eliminated, but certainly lessened by doing it this way. So that's one advantage. And then the other thing is that you're automatically kind of in the system. To access it, you still have to log in either using the app or a browser. And that's something I do want to point out for those of you who maybe are less into the using your mobile phones for this kind of thing, is that you can always log in through a browser. So on your laptop or iPad or whatever, you can also access the app that way. So when you registered, you should have gotten an invitation. And when we launched the app, you should have gotten an invitation to join and register. Um, if you didn't, it's been included in all of our recent email newsletters about the app, but I'm also going to put it right here in the chat. Um, Download Whova app here. So it's right there. So that is the link where you can do it. And the key thing, if you haven't done it yet, is that you use the email that you used to register for the conference. That's probably the most important thing. And if you maybe used Whova in a previous conference year, but with a different email, not all the same info will be imported from the previous year, which is fine. But just be aware of that you need to use the email that you used to register for the conference um, to log in and get that set up. Does anyone have any questions about just that first part of the process? Okay, I will move on. But if something comes up, feel free to throw it in the chat and I will answer those questions. So when you have gotten into the app, you will find that the home screen, which I can't, I'm not able to share it from my phone. We're hoping that we might be able to get some of that up later. But basically, when you log into the home screen, you will find, or when you log into the app, you will see 2025 Farm Gathering and Presenter Summit. So you'll see a couple of events, or you'll see one event. You might see other events like the past farm conferences, or if you've used Whova for any other events you've attended that outside of farm. So that will show up there. So you make sure you click on the 2025 Farm Gathering. And then when you get to that home page, you'll find all kinds of things. Probably the first thing you might want to check out is um, sort of in the middle of the screen, there it says leaderboard, photos, Twitter, my profile. And that is where you would update your own info. So if you want to put any more contact info, it basically has all your registration info. Like if you have an organization that you affiliated with or a band or anything like that, that will be in there. It doesn't show your personal email or phone number or anything like that. So, but it does kind of show your basic information and you can flesh it out with a bio, photo, that kind of thing. But it doesn't share that info. You can connect with people and choose to share that info with people, but it will not just be there. Um, but that's where you would do that for your profile. Um, and then probably the most important things you'll be using on a regular basis are all at the bottom of the screen. So um, again, it will be on that home screen, but then next to that, the bottom menu has agenda, attendees, community, and messages. And whenever there's new things there, there'll be alerts. So you'll see that little red dot. Um, so I will go through some of those. Probably the thing that people are most interested in at this stage in the game is attendees. So, one thing that's really cool about the app when you are logged into it and using it is that it makes it really easy. You can just click on the app and just say, "Oh, I wonder if this person's attending." And you can just do a search. So you go to attendees and you can just search a name and you'll see the whole list of attendees alphabetically. And these are all the people who have officially registered for the conference. So, and then you can see info about them. You can say hi. You can message them directly from that. But where that's especially helpful right now is that private showcase hosts um, and are making sure that artists are registered for the conference before they book them for the private showcases, or you might be making plans to either share a hotel room or anything like that. Um, and I'm trying to think what else. So that will probably be very useful at this stage in the game. In past years, we have posted attendee lists on our website, um, which we might still do, but we usually didn't do it until closer to the conference. But this is certainly the easiest way to always find the most up-to-date list of who's attending, or if you're looking for where people are attending from, etc. So. That's a little bit about the attendees list. Does anyone have any questions about that particular function? And let me know if I'm going too fast or if there's anything else you want me to flesh out.
Hey, Ellen.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So I deleted the app and reinstalled it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I might be able to start sharing my screen if you want.
Oh, perfect.
Can we
Awesome.
give it a whirl and see if it works?
Yes.
Of course, it might share things I don't want you to see, but look at that.
Zoom notification.
Are you getting a,
We're seeing your phone.
hold on. Any second now, there is the ta-da.
Yes, this is exactly what we wanted to see.
Yay.
So what I don't know, let's see if I can make
I'm gonna mute myself.
cool. What I don't know is if I'll see if my to make my screen bit bigger. Can you guys see it? You might have to make your browser full size to see it, but at the bottom of so this is the home screen when you're logged into the event on Whova. So you'll see at the very bottom, there's the home attendees. It might be a little cut off if your screen is a little bit smaller. And I don't think Annie, I don't know if there's any way to scroll down
Just
or
move,
not.
honestly, you just probably need to move your mouse off the screen so the bottom toolbar goes away,
Gotcha.
because
Okay,
then I can see the whole thing.
cool. So you will see though, all those things I was talking about. So as home, attendees, agenda, and that's kind of where you access that stuff. So you'll see um, where you can access all those options. So we were just talking about attendees, and here you'll see. Thank you, Annie. You'll see you always show up at the top. So if you ever want to look at your profile, that's one place to do it. Um, and then below that, you'll see all the other attendees alphabetically, but obviously you can search at the top. There's a browse attendees. You can, I think there might be different ways of filtering other things. You see there's this option say hi. So that was basically just sending a direct message to that individual saying, oh, cool, you're going. You want to ride together or whatever. Or I'm looking forward to meeting you. I'm looking forward to playing your showcase room. Um, that's where you would do that. And as Annie is showing you, this is a great example. Ben Bedford has put in a bunch of info, or maybe that was from of course, I don't know how much was pulled from Whova, but you can always like add or edit things there. So if there's ever things you want changed, the good thing about that is if you change anything in Whova, it should be updated everywhere else in Whova. So the nice thing is if you have changes that you want made to the public facing stuff, if you do it in Whova, then that's where we're going to be actually printing name tags from and doing all that stuff. So everything will be very streamlined. So hopefully there'll be fewer mistakes, typos, that kind of thing. So if for some reason your name is not correct or your band name is not correct in Whova, you'll definitely want to change it. And if you have problems, you can always contact us. But you'll want to double check to make sure your info is correct in Whova. So, Michael, it says 131 attendees, while in your screen, the number is much higher. Yeah, we're at like in the upper 200s right now. Yeah, well, I guess the main thing, Michael, would be to make sure that you're logged into the 2025 farm event, just because. Um, so I don't know why I would have a different number unless it was a different event. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that. Um, let's see.
You want to make sure you don't have a filter on of some sort.
Yeah. So at the top, it says browse attendees by all these different things. That might be why. Um, yeah. So it says like recommended to, there's all these different filters you can do. So that might be what it is. Um, but it should have everyone that we have, should be available and searchable on that event. Um, so as I mentioned, you can say hi, you can message people. At the bottom of the screen, again, one of the menu items is messages. So if someone sends you a message, that's where you will see it. Um, and yeah, so that's where you would get alerts. You will also see in messages, you'll see kind of like you'll see it'll be a combination of personal messages and messages that might come from us as organizers or from Hova. And I think Annie might be saying something, but she's muted. But
No, I'm sorry. Am I?
okay.
I think I'm just chewing. But no, I did want to point out to you, you'll see here for me, there's messages from last year,
hmm Yeah.
when I couldn't make it, just
Yeah.
thanks to COVID. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So if you
Yes.
were in last year, you'll you want to know which are older messages. Yeah.
Yeah. So just pay attention to that date because,
Yeah.
um, yeah. I mean, the good thing about it being the same app and that there's connections is if you were at a previous event, some of that information will be there. So if you were trying to remember, like, who was that person I talked to or exchanged messages with, you can probably at least find their name and such that way. Um, which is pretty cool. So one of the things that you might be looking to, there's of course any number of ways you might want to be connecting with people ahead of the conference, whether it's setting up meeting times, inviting them to showcases, ride shares, sharing a hotel room, any of that. In addition to, sending private messages to for that kind of thing, there is also the community section, which is right next to messages. And this is where you can kind of post. It's more like a bulletin board, right? So you'll see these different categories, organizer announcements, like the one I shared today, which was inviting people to this event. The updated private showcase list. So if you were looking for that and you're like, I know it was in an email and they said it was in the app, where can I find it? You can always find it here if you are looking for it. These, by the way, these organizer messages, they get sent out, as you might have noticed, you get an email as well as a message in the app, um, which is kind of nice because during the conference, we use that function a lot with any kind of last minute on the ground updates, like this workshop has moved to another room or any sort of change in a schedule. That's really convenient because some people will get the email even if they're not on the app. So it's another way we can communicate with you during the conference. So in addition to the organizer announcements, there's Ask Organizers Anything, and we'll do our best to keep an eye on it. Thank you, Smitty, for responding to Janie's message. Um, so if you have questions, but if you have very specific questions that are about, like, I'm having trouble with the app or registration or anything like that, please email us individually just so we don't miss it, especially if it's timely. We want to make sure that we answer it. Um, I do want to mention that again, Leslie Rich, who is on the call, waving right there. He's our registrar doing a fantastic job. And I am going to put his email, contact Leslie Rich with questions about, again, registration. Did I buy meals? I'm having problem logging into the app, or is this the email address I used to register? All of that with registration and Whova questions, registrar at farmfolk.org. So I put that in the chat. So if you have any questions about that, if you have general questions about the conference, of course, you can email me, conference@farmfolk.org. But on this community section, there's meetups and virtual meets. That could be at the conference, that could be before the conference. I mean, you can use these tools for all different kinds of things. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see other just sort of posts that people have posted. So like possible room share at farm gathering. Someone shared that. So if someone's looking for a roommate, if you're looking for any of that kind of stuff, that's a great place to put it. And it doesn't have to just be about the conference related. So again, we want this to be a tool for you guys to connect in whatever way is useful for our community. So I saw someone had posted like a job opening um, or whatever. So or career things, you can share that kind of stuff too. So that's a little bit about the community section. Does anyone have any questions about that? Anyway, okay. So at the bottom of the screen, again, one of the other items that I think you'll be using most of all, especially when you get closer to the conference, is agenda. This is obviously the schedule for the conference. Obviously, it is not complete, as I've said in some previous emails. We've started to put some of the workshops in. It is not finished. So if you submitted a workshop idea and you haven't heard back, it's because we're still trying to sort out the schedules. But we have put many of the presenter-oriented workshops in there already, and you can look at the general schedule, but it will be fleshed out with all the stuff, including individual showcases. So you'll be able to search by artists to see where people are performing. So this is, I think, one of the coolest things about the app is being able to create your own agenda and reminders when things are happening during the conference. Because, and it doesn't mean it's not like committing you to them for all time, but it's really helpful to be like, oh yeah, I was going to go to that because you get distracted and you want to do other things, and you just get a. What happens if you press the add to agenda, this thing on the right? If you're like, oh, I want to go to ticketing 101, see, you can click on add to agenda. It says remind me 10 minutes before, 20 minutes before, no reminder. Um, and it's just like a way, and then you'll just get an alert on your phone, which is very helpful. But also, it's just a nice way of sorting your schedule. So if you start creating your own agenda, like Annie just added, creating a budget for your event to her schedule, the nice thing is you can just look at the whole schedule whenever you want. You can filter it by certain kinds of events like workshops or artists you want to see perform. But also you can just look at your agenda. So there's an option. Trying to think where it is. Oh, my agenda at the top. It says full agenda and my agenda. So the full agenda is just the full schedule. My agenda is anything you've added to your schedule. Um, so that's just a really neat thing you can do. You can do filter, um, and you can add your own activity. I'm presuming that's something like you had a meetup or a mentoring session you signed up for. That could be another way to remind yourself to do it. Um, Filter by tracks, you'll see at the top of the screen above search agenda. And these are the different categories of events we have during the conference. So if you're like, oh, I only want to know what's happening for the presenter summit, um, because that's a new thing we're doing this year as part of the conference. So maybe you've signed up for that if you're a venue representative or run a festival or book a concert series, you might have signed up for this. And these are sessions that are geared towards you. So you could see all of those highlighted. So yeah, I think the agenda is my favorite thing and I use it all the time because I forget things. Of course, we will still have a printed program. So those of you who want to have that, you will have that. But this is a great thing, especially because anytime there will be a change during the schedule, um, either leading up to the conference or at the conference. Again, if something moves rooms or um, there's just a change in maybe maybe someone couldn't attend, so someone else is been added to a panel or anything like that. Or an alternate ends up getting subbed in for one of the official showcase artists. That will all be updated in real time. As soon as we have updates, we put it in Whova. And this year, the schedule from Whova automatically gets updated on our own website. There's a widget that we can use. So, in the past, sometimes the website hasn't been as up to date only because it takes a lot to update it in all the places, or sometimes someone forgets to add it somewhere, someone usually being me. So, this really helps with that because we're all working from the same playbook. So, if something needs to be changed, it's only changing it in one place. So, this will always be the most up to date version of the schedule. So we are excited about that. So, does anyone have any questions about the agenda portion of the app? Again, feel free to throw any comments, questions, observations in the chat if you have them. And
Hey, Ellen,
mhm,
I
yes.
was maybe you covered this and I wasn't paying enough attention. When we get to midnight
Oh,
and you want to look at a 1 a.m. private showcase, do you have to go to the next day?
yes, that is one quirk that you can't change just because it's the way this app is set up. So, what we will do, if you look at Friday private showcases, right now, of course, we have the schedules have not been confirmed. Once they are, each of the artists performing in all the showcase rooms will be listed. So you'll be able to see them all. But for now, it just says private showcases. And when you go to Saturday, and you'll see it goes 10:30 p.m. to 11:59 or whatever. And then it says Friday private showcases continued. So just to be clear on what it is. And that's partly also because that way, again, if you've added it to your agenda, you'll get reminders at the appropriate time. If we put them all on Friday, then we couldn't actually list the individual times and have it be correct. And so thank you for that question. That's a very important one. Um, and when people advertise their showcases, it is completely normal to say Friday at 12 a.m., even though technically it's Saturday at 12 a.m. Most attendees all understand that to be Friday night rather than Saturday morning. Um, but in the app, it will say Friday private showcases continued. So look for those there. Great question.
I'm going to add a quick just thing about Whova support.
Yes.
Because before we started, I could not get logged in. I kept getting an error message. And I sent an email to the team, the support team, right away with the screenshot I was getting. And while I was waiting for them to reply, I decided to uninstall the app and reinstall it, which fixed the problem. But they had emailed me back within 10 minutes of the
Wow.
issue with that exact instruction. And then I just said thank you, and they replied back, and it was great. So two things: A, if you're having trouble with the app, try uninstalling it and reinstalling it. Secondly, the support is great. So
Yeah. And even during that time, you were still able to log in through the computer.
yeah, absolutely.
So like through the browser. But that's great. Thank you for that.
Oh, I have a question.
Hmm.
This may not be something you can answer, but see how I have 234 messages?
Hmm.
Those clearly are not from this year.
Hmm.
That's a cumulative from all the years in which we've used this. And short of me going in and manually deleting them, do you know if there's sort of a way? I think I did investigate this at one point, but I don't know if you know anything
I
about that.
I do not know that. And I also see Sue Kessel's message. How do you delete old messages? And yes, just to delete them, Sue, you just go on the message. And I think there's just a delete. I don't know if you want to go to that screen, Annie, but um, I think you just click on the message. Is there an option just to, or swipe? Yeah, you just swipe and then you'll get a delete option, kind of like you would for maybe a voicemail on your phone. So that's how you delete them. But yes, in terms of mass kind of, or just like keeping previous events, I'm not sure if there's is unless there's a filter. I don't know, but I'll find out. I'm creating a list, by the way, for our amazing Hoover rep, Claudia. Um, so that might be one of those questions I will ask her, Annie, is how to maybe do a mass delete or filter or something so you don't see old messages. And that might also, I don't know, I believe the attendees, since Michael was wondering about the number of attendees on his list, and I was just wondering if I had the same number of attendees as you did, Annie,
Check what I
on
just
my,
did. So
yeah.
just learned something. So
So where did you do that?
I clicked on the messages, but up next to the right of it, I clicked on the little pencil icon,
Mm-hmm.
and I get this. So it looks like I can filter that way, but does that do it? No. Interesting. Okay, well, thought maybe I had an answer.
But I think this other thing is interesting because if there's someone from a past conference, again, that you are like, or even after this year's conference, that you're like,
Hmm.
how do I get a hold of that person? And I lost my program and, I want to contact them. You can look at past conferences too and be like, contact them from that list. So even if they weren't at this year's conference, you can reach out to people that way, which is a nice perk. But I don't know about mass deletion or filters or whatever. I'll look at that.
Ellen,
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure when they see Annie's name, she has a lot of clout. That's why she gets answered. I emailed about this deleting thing days ago and never heard back
Okay.
from them.
Okay. I will. I'll contact our rep and I will share that with you, Sue. Um, I will. And I have a note with your name associated with Sue, so I will also email you back. But also, I will kind of post any of these kinds of questions, the answers to these questions. I can just post it in Whova, like as part of that message. So we can have follow up there. Yeah, Charlie's right. Charlie says Sue has clout here. That's right. We want you all do in our book, so we want to
Yeah,
make
not
sure you're
sure I
taken
have
care
clout anymore, honey.
of.
That ship sailed.
Maybe it was just lucky
Prob-
timing. Who knows?
Certainly
It's
not with
also
They probably
Whova.
get
They don't
no, they
remember.
probably get nervous when they see Annie's name.
probably. Um, so, and I know Michael had a question about the attendees. So, Michael, maybe we might need to chat offline to make sure that everything set. But he says I changed the configurations in the app, and now I see 290 attendees listed, which is correct. That is how many we have all registered, which is also amazing because our cap this year is 350. So this is also a good reminder. If you know anyone who's planning on attending who has not registered, they should, because we might reach our capacity this year. So um, make sure to remind people to register.
Yeah, I
Um,
might note that, sorry, no, but I
no, go
also
ahead.
want to note that when I went into attendees and I see how it went to recommended, I went back to all, but it didn't refresh me back to 290.
Hmm,
So I think just, for whatever it's worth, it might be just closing the app and opening it back up again could do that, but
yeah.
yeah, just so
Um,
you can see what number matches,
yeah.
up here and here. I don't, yeah. Anyway.
And I think for the most part, people probably might be doing searches to see if someone's maybe registered, and that works no matter what, as long as you're logged into our event and not like a previous year's conference. Um, I think I got through a lot of the basics of the app or the how you might want to use it and things that I think I like to use the app for. But um, I would love to know if anyone else has any questions. I don't know how many of you have used the app yet, or if you're just getting the overview, or if you have specific questions about it. Feel free to chime in. This is the open Q&A part of the talk, or just things you want me to address that maybe I haven't. You can raise your hand or chime in the chat, or just unmute yourself.
Do you want to talk about the leaderboards at all, or like what that, if you're
Sure. Well, what do you think we should say about the leaderboard? We've I haven't used
well,
it so much, so
yeah, I disabled it
okay.
so for me personally, and not on now this time, but in the conference when I was running it, I didn't, I'm not a big fan of competing for
Yeah.
things, and we didn't really offer any prizes, but Smitty actually had a really good, or somebody came up with the idea for a photo contest, which was kind of fun. And I do think the photo section is really fun, but
Yes, the photos. So, and how did you get to the photos, Annie?
just right from the landing page.
Right here. Yeah, in the middle. Yeah. So that
No,
is a
my
great way of
computer is
sharing
still
stuff. Yeah. And
How do
and
you,
we would
yeah,
encourage people to share photos there because again, we will have an official photographer like we did last year, which was really wonderful. But there's a lot of moments that don't get captured in all the rooms because there's so many wonderful things happening all the time. So please share them.
exactly. Do you want to talk
Smitty,
about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh,
Smitty.
I asked how you upload photos, but actually there's a button at the bottom of that page that says photo video. Maybe I couldn't see it there it is, yeah.
So,
Okay,
and if you're like hosting a private showcase room or something like that, that would be a great place to share like photos of your room or things like that. That might be neat. I think Annie, did you have something else you were going to mention?
I'm sorry.
No,
Just
not at all.
upload a goofy picture. Um, One of the things that people do use photos for those who are interested, and I'm sorry about the echo, I literally have my volume all the way down and I'm coming back out through my phone. But one of the things people do use the photos for is for graphics that they've designed for promoting showcases and
Mm,
whatnot. If you create an ad or if you create a graphic for any kind of social, you can plop it up into the photos. That's a fun way to promote yourself.
hmm.
Um, and the Who the Guide has some good stuff in there. But I was just going to ask if you wanted to talk at all about the desktop version, or if anyone's interested in that at all. I don't know if it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So
Yeah, I mean, I think things just look a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same content as I recall. I don't know if you have that. Could you pull that up, Annie?
yeah, sure. I'm going to stop
Okay.
screen
And while she does that, does anyone else have any questions or things that you'd like to learn?
How about a pet peeve?
Sure. Because actually, that is good because our rep, there have been a few things that I've asked about just from the organizational standpoint that we've asked about, and some of which they're adding, sometimes there is an answer, and sometimes they're like, well, we can't do that now, but we always take a list of things, for improvement.
Yeah.
So yes, tell me your pet
So,
peeve.
so like for instance, right now I'm in the icebreaker thing and I'm answering someone, and the text entry doesn't do the thing where after a period it capitalizes the next letter you type.
No. So no
No,
autocorrect.
that's far from the end of the world, but it pisses me off.
I'll tell them, put on autocorrect.
Using bad grammar, and I have to go in and do the caps thing. Take seconds out of my day.
Oh, that is a really hard thing, Smitty. We're sending thoughts and prayers to you.
Thank you.
That's why you have a little
I'm suffering.
microphone so
I'm
you
suffering.
can talk into your phone and you don't have to use your fat thumbs to
Does it
type.
have the microphone?
I hate typing on my phone more than
The talking would be great.
I don't. Can't you do that?
Well, I guess I got that little thing on the keyboard. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Hold on.
You know,
The app.
Ellen, I
Oh,
don't know. I tried this year, but last year, because I have a very old phone, the app would not download.
Oh, yeah. I mean that I'm not sure about their specs and like that could be true if you have like an older phone. All I can say is yeah, the browser is probably then the best thing. The nice thing about you'll still get the updates regardless, obviously, to your email, but yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think we don't have any control over that portion of it. But yeah, if you are having problems downloading the app, that could be one of the reasons. So just make sure your phone's as up to date as it can be. Um, and it also works with, iPads and, tablets and stuff too. So that can be another way of having a portable version of the app. So this is the browser version. So if you are having problems downloading the app on your phone, you can access this at any time. And what usually, I don't know if you're like me, apparently I'm like Annie because I have always have 20 million tabs open on my computer as well. But the nice thing is like during the conference or if you're doing a lot of planning for the conference, you can like when you're logged into Whova, usually it will like keep you logged in unless you like close it out. So the nice thing is you can keep it open to like check schedules and like or even if you're at the conference in the morning and you're making your plans for the day, like you can do all that right here. So it looks pretty similar except you get to see more at a time on a big screen. So I see more of those attendees at once. Um, but yeah, it's pretty much the same kinds of, oh, yeah. And Annie was just pointing out
Yeah. Look at
290
that.
attendees total. Yeah.
And so that made me go back to my phone, which I don't know how we missed this, but directly underneath the browse attendees by button, um, it said all attendees 290. So even though it's sort of defaulting to that red little dot, to
Yeah, the
recommended,
recommended.
you can
And I don't know
see.
how it even determines the recommended. That seems
I know
odd.
that's
I don't know.
performer sharing mutual roles. I think if you depending on
Oh, maybe.
right.
But you can also bookmark people. So like if you go back to that screen, Annie, that you were just at,
Uh-huh.
you'll see you can bookmark, view profile, say hi. So the say hi kind of popped out maybe more than the bookmark part and the view profile, but this is a great way of like if you just want to like remind yourself, oh yeah, that's someone I want to see or talk to or whatever it is at the conference. Then at the top of the screen there's a bookmark section. So it's just a way of flagging people, which can be useful for later. See, then you could go to bookmarked and see those folks.
So, question about the categories. I know I'm sorry, this might be talking about the sausage getting made, but
So
there,
I do love sausage.
I know, right? Veggie sausage. Did we, gosh, I think I'm going to sign off on my phone so that stops happening. Anyways, the categories, we used to have to do this manually, right? We still have to do that manually? Or when people assign themselves?
I have to look at that. I'm not sure. how it assigns that.
Like right now, there's only one artist, which I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
is,
I think that's mainly used for things like when you're putting them in the schedule. So I'll have to,
yeah.
that's one of those things on my list that I'm not quite sure yet. So anyway, so those categories, use those with a grain of salt. The main thing you can view the profile should say, um, I'm not sure. That's actually a question. I don't know if you view profiles, if it says that
No, it's
affiliations.
gonna give it in this. Yeah, maybe we can talk about it offline because I think
Yeah.
it's the
It
way
would be
to.
nice. It would be nice to have that as a more searchable option. So you could like pull up all the presenters in one spot and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And DJs and things like that. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Was
Cool.
my question.
Is that your question, Sue? Yeah. Um, yeah,
Just, yeah.
and especially because one thing that we'll be doing, I'm using folk DJs as an example. You know, we have these peer conversations that happen during the conference for people to get together to share kind of inside information about their roles. And one of them is like the DJ one. So like Sue might want to reach out to some if there's like a new DJ coming to the conference to invite them, make sure to invite them to it or something like that. So yeah, we will see about how we can make that visible or maybe it's just a matter of getting a field added to the profile because the
Mhm.
information's all in Whova. I think the question is how we get it to whether we can customize that view profile section.
We did talk about that at one point. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to end the meeting. Uh-oh. Hopefully that didn't actually end the meeting. It doesn't seem to have.
We're all here. I think we're
I know.
here.
I just ended it on my phone. It just only said end. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. I like
Yeah, it would
the activity feed on the right. And when you're on your desktop, it doesn't have this on the phone, but this is kind of nice because you can sort of see what's, happened recently. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Right.
Things you might have missed that popped in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. Does anyone else have any questions or comments or complaints, airing of grievances? I mean, about the app specifically, not the world in general.
yeah, it would be nice to be able to search by primary role.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree. I'm gonna I'm gonna look into that. Cool. Anything else? Leslie, any questions we've been getting from people? Annie?
I don't think so. I think it's amazing how, like, it's really not, it's a very intuitive app.
Mm.
Oh, Miguel Gonzalez is waiting in the waiting room. Sorry. I'm going to let him in. I
Yeah.
am going to try something here real quick just to see if it works. Oh, nope. I was seeing if I could log into a previous app, but I might have had to do that or a previous, yeah, I couldn't. One of our past conferences to see if it had, other detail in it, but it doesn't let me. So that's fine.
Well, cool.
No, it's great.
Well,
We're going to be updating this lovely generic graphic soon, as soon as I get my act together.
so yeah, so if you have any questions about any of this, again, feel free to reach out to any of us. And we will do our best to help you. But mainly play around with it, have fun. It's pretty user friendly. Um, and again, we just encourage you to, get used to it now, log in now, because I think it will help as you try and make connections ahead of the conference, and stay on top of the schedule. So if no one else has anything else, so we can sign off. But this will be archived and shareable. So if you have friends or people who wanted to attend and couldn't, you can share it with them there. Any other virtual connections announcements, Annie or Charlie?
Sure. A little housekeeping. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, and those are our two farm reach time zones. So you can do the math if you're outside of that area. We will have our concert presenters group, and that's open to anybody in general, but it's primarily geared towards the concert presenters. Then on the 21st, we have our community peer session. That's Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. I believe I'm hosting that one. And then we have our folk DJ and friends. Sue Kessel runs that. That is 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. and that'll be the 27th of August. That's a Wednesday evening. And I believe that's everything. Am I missing anything? I think that's everything we've got. So that's what's coming up in the farm virtual connections.
Great. Well, thank you, Charlie,
Ellen?
for, yep,
Can you and Schmitty hold on at the end, because so we can clear up a couple last details about the DJ showcase, since I have
Sure.
you both here.
sure.
Let's sign off on the live stream, everyone. So say goodbye. Thanks to anyone tuning in.
Thank you.
The replay is available.
Thank
I put the
you.
links in the chat if y'all want to